Welcome back, Nerd Boxers. We're hoping that you're having a great Halloween season, and to help you get prepped for Halloween ends, we figured that we would throw together a little Easter egg video for Halloween 2018 because it's fun doing Easter eggs and hunting these little things down and finding things that people haven't seen. And with this one, there are a couple interesting Easter eggs that don't get credit, and that's the ones that are for Terrifier. Kind of pisses me off. But we're not here to talk about that. And before we jump into our list of Easter eggs and some references, we are on the quest for 5,000 subscribers, and you can help get us there by making sure that you are subscribed and helping sharing this with other people. And you can do that by dropping a like on that, adding a comment. If you're watching this on your TV, hit the arrow up and you'll see the little thumbs up there. So click on that so that it gets a broader audience. And as we go along, every video with 100 likes and 100 comments will have a chance, or a person will have a chance to win a prize that is limited to theaters. So it's posters, it's comic books, it's pins, oh my. And when we hit 5,000 subscribers, you will be entered in a drawing to win the Strawberries and Scream cereal signed by Matthew Lillard and David Arquette. So, let's jump into that list.
We're excited to meet Cameron.
That whole family, though, had a reputation.
Ray, come on.
But it's true. It's a relevant factor.
Ray,
Do you remember the one time Lonnie punched that cop in the face?
Ray.
Allison's boyfriend is Cameron Elam. Jane mentions growing up with Lonnie Elam, who is, as we know, one of the boys who bullied Tommy Doyle. We will come back to this original scene later.
Prick.
Like in the original Halloween, we meet our three teenagers walking down the street. In the original, it was Lori, Annie, and Linda. In the 2018 Halloween, it is Lori's granddaughter Allison with Vicky and David. At school, we see Allison sitting in the back of the classroom in the seat that Lori was sitting in the original film while the teacher is presenting a lecture on fate. This discussion revolves around how someone can control their own.
I understand how someone who has nothing left in this world may still know bliss.
The off-screen teacher lecturing Allison about fate is voiced by PJ Soles, the actress who played Linda in the original film. Allison, like Lori in the original Halloween, is staring out the window and notices her grandmother ominously standing outside her school across the street watching her. This mirrors Michael in the same position watching Lori in her classroom in the original.
Man, she was just creepy in this film.
Yeah, that's creepy. Like, who does that? First of all, you were scared to death when you looked out a window and saw Michael Myers standing there staring at you. So what do? You recreate the scene for your granddaughter.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Now, two interesting things about this, right? So, going back, looking at the Easter eggs on this, it really just ties into our theory about Lori fighting a ghost of Michael Myers.
Mm-hmm.
If you haven't seen that, go check it out. But also, Halloween is really a journey through the Halloween franchise with all the little things that they pulled in from all the other movies that made it really seem familiar. This is probably why a lot of us really loved it, because we really already knew the film. And it's going to come up as we're going along reading these Easter eggs. After watching Michael leave on the bus to be transported to a new prison, Laurie Strode makes an appearance at Allison's graduation dinner, where we see her swipe her daughter's husband's glass of red wine and gulp it down to calm her nerves. This is something that we've seen Laurie do in H2O as well, to calm her nerves. During this scene, if you listen closely, you will hear Laurie mutter,
I saw him in the shape.
In the original film, Michael Myers is never referred to as the Shape. He's always referred to as Michael Myers. The Shape, as we all know, is in the credits. And that's the only time it appears. Later on, as the father and son drive up on the bus scene, the song playing on the radio is Close to Me.
We do this all the time.
Well, you don't enjoy it? I like being out in the woods.
No, I enjoy it, but I'm missing dance class for this.
Which is a song that was created by John Carpenter and Jamie Lee Curtis in the original Halloween film because they couldn't afford to pay for the rights of any other song. And this was something that we would see Laurie sing to herself to kind of soothe herself.
I wish I had you all alone.
That's kind of weird. You're being stalked by Michael and you're being close to me?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Not exactly what I would have done.
Michael's escape is very similar to the original film where Dr. Loomis and Nurse Chambers in the 78 version drive up on a bunch of patients wandering around aimlessly after escaping. So here in this film, we have the father and son that are driving up and seeing patients wander around aimlessly.
Only from a bus accident and not out of a mental hospital.
No, there are theories out there that Laurie caused the bus accident.
I know.
After his escape, we see Michael at the cemetery looking at his sister's tombstone, Judith Myers, which he stole in the first film. And this is the same tombstone from the original film.
Podcaster Aaron and his colleague Dana pull into the gas station. Aaron makes eye contact with an old lady in a Resurrection Church van. This can be some foreshadowing for what is about to occur in the film where Michael returns, instilling fear in the town of Haddonfield. Or is it a nod to Halloween Resurrection? In Rob Zombie's Halloween, we see an escaped Michael kill Big Joe Grizzly in a bathroom stall by bashing him up against it until he finally stabs him. Here we have Michael kill Aaron in a similar way, only without a knife. Probably because Aaron wasn't as big as Joe Grizzly, so
Yeah.
he didn't need the extra.
You just hold on, Daisy. I've got something for you.
Michael kills another mechanic to get his blue coveralls. I mean, Michael, they sell them at Walmart.
Yeah, what is he gonna do? Walk in there and slaughter everybody in Walmart for his coveralls?
I don't know, he doesn't have to kill someone everywhere he goes. He just walk in there and take coveralls and leave. Why does he always have to kill a mechanic? And how does he always find mechanics big enough?
This is true.
When Sheriff Hawkins opens Michael's files, he refers to the original murders as the babysitter murders.
Take a look at this list. Most of them minor offenders, mental patients. One stuck out. A2201. It's Michael Myers. Babysitter murders, 1978.
This was going to be the original name for Halloween 78 before John Carpenter and Deborah Hill changed it.
Yeah, only one babysitter was killed.
I was gonna say, I mean, the babysitter murders, they would have had to knock off a few more.
Mm-hmm.
Babysitters, that is.
Yeah, Linda was only babysitting somebody's penis.
Okay. Just before he enters a woman's home, a couple of trick-or-treaters walk into Michael on the sidewalk. One of the kids drops a pumpkin bucket that he's holding, which is in reference to one of the bullies running into Michael after they knocked Tommy's pumpkin to the ground.
I liked Lonnie in Halloween Kills, but I hated his son, Cameron. He got everything that he deserved. The trick-or-treater next to the other one is dressed like a cowboy carrying a boombox on his shoulder, just like the trick-or-treater in Halloween 2 who walks into Michael Myers. Now, when he enters the garage of the woman's house and his first kill, there are only two visible tools. A hammer, which Michael used to kill the security guard in Halloween 2, and there is a hacksaw to the left of it. Say what you will, I'm declaring this as a Art to Clown Easter egg because he used the hacksaw to kill Dawn in Terrifier. And why am I saying that? Well, this is not the only Terrifier reference that we're going to see in this movie. It is one of 4. And the one may be a little far-fetched when we get to it. Now, the next series of kills also pays homage to Halloween 2's opening scenes, where Michael strolls through the town killing people. In part 2, Michael wanders into the Elrod's home. Miss Elrod is wearing a faded pink robe, and she's suddenly distracted by a movie that is playing on TV. Well, Michael sneaks up, and he takes her knife, sparing her life. Only in 2018's Halloween, Michael kills the unsuspecting woman in a pink robe. Also note that both Miss Elrod and this woman were cutting ham and making a ham sandwich.
The TV show that was playing in the woman's house with the pink robe was Voyager, which is about time travel, which is what we're doing in this movie.
Yes, we're time traveling through all the different films in the Halloween franchise.
Like in the second movie, he leaves with a knife from her kitchen. When he enters the home of his next victim, a woman is on the phone being told of the escape because we can hear her saying that she will lock her doors. In the second Halloween, the woman is also on the phone, only she is being told about the murders that had just taken place. In Halloween 2, Michael then heads to the hospital. Here we have Michael crosses paths with a couple dressed up as a nurse and a doctor.
So crossing into part 3 homage we'll get to shortly. It's a little interesting. You see it pop up in here really quick, and then it's focused in the Halloween Kills film. When Dave arrives at Julian's house, where Vicky is babysitting, you will see various linen and sheets hanging outside on a clothesline, just like you do in the 1978 version when Michael is standing outside of Laurie's home and she is on the phone. We soon see that Dave was killed and pinned against the wall, only with him facing the wall, similar to Paul's death in 1976.
I couldn't remember if it was Bob or Paul.
After Michael murders Vicky, he hides her body under the sheet with holes cut for the eyes. This pays homage to Michael wearing the sheet in the original film when he walks in through the door to Linda. After a panicked Laurie arrives in the neighborhood, we see kids running around, trick-or-treating, sporting the cursed masks made from the Silver Shamrock Company, the Witch, the Skull, and the Jack-o'-lantern. And this is where we cross into Halloween 3 and the time travel. Before Oscar is killed, we see a motion detector light going on and off in a yard. In one instance, Michael's there. In the next instance, he's not. This is something that we've seen done in the movie Lights Out with the spirit of Diane, who only appears in the dark. And when the lights turn on, she is gone. Why do we think that this is a reference to Lights Out? We will discuss that in a little bit.
After Oscar is killed, Michael begins to stalk Allison, who runs off in a panic, banging on doors, just like her grandmother did in the original film. Allison is picked up by Sheriff Hawkins and Dr. Sartain. As they're driving along, they see Michael, and the sheriff attempts to run him over by hitting him head on. Something we see happen to Ben Tramer in part 2. After our big reveal, Michael turns on the doctor and eventually stomps on his head, just like Art the Clown does to Mike the Exterminator in Terrifier.
Yep, somebody was watching the Terrifier film. Not our last Art the Clown reference.
As Michael is finding his way back to Laurie, he comes across Officer Richards and Officer Francis, who are discussing their lunch. This is a nod to the cops in Halloween 5, something we also saw in The Last House on the Left and Scream 4. Shortly after Allison's dad finds the two police officers dead, and we see Officer Francis' head lit up with a flashlight like a jack-o'-lantern, something we saw 2 years earlier in Terrifier with the pizza shop owner's head left on the counter.
Yep. I would say it is done a little bit better here because I like the flashlight into it. So I thought that was pretty cool. But
Well, in Terrifier, there wasn't a candle.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there's candles in his sockets, in his mouth. But there's another Terrifier reference. So somebody was doing their homework, and you see the influence of Art the Clown in this series. And it's kind of fitting. They're both Halloween movies, right? So, yeah, kind of have their little homages to each other.
Yeah, that makes sense. I feel like a lot of movies play homage to each other, so...
Yeah, as long as it's not blatant ripping off.
Yeah.
Like we saw in The Imitation.
Well, because there's a difference between stealing someone's ideas and playing homage to something that you really liked and thought was creative.
Yeah, yeah. So it's not just like taking together... Well, honestly, this is just taking pieces from all the Halloween movies and just putting it together.
But this is Halloween taking from Halloween movies. So I think that's a little bit different than, say, Terrifier taking from Halloween or Halloween taking from Terrifier.
Maybe that's what was wrong with Halloween Kills.
There was a lot wrong with Halloween Kills.
Yeah. When we arrive at Laurie's home, we see several Easter eggs. The first one is the sun hat that is hanging on Laurie's wall. It was also hanging on her wall in the original film in her room. We eventually see a dollhouse that is constructed to look just like Michael Myers' home when he grew up in. Another throwback to shameless self-plugging in our theory episode where Laurie is battling the ghost of her past. Because obviously it's all right here. In the house, there are mannequins spread out in one room just before Michael and Laurie square off. Just like the opening of Lights Out in the factory where Paul discovers the spirit of Diane, and the one room is filled with mannequins as well.
I don't like mannequins.
They are creepy.
Yeah.
I almost
like
bought
them.
a couple.
I know, because you're weird.
Thought that would look cool.
Nope. I'm good. They're about as bad as porcelain dolls.
We then get a call back to the closet scene, only the roles have reversed. Michael may be hiding in the closet this time as Laurie is stalking him. Laurie is forced to face a mirror image of her tormented memories here, as she searches through the closet only to find Jay's body, her daughter's husband, pop out instead. Another reference.
Well, she didn't like him anyway, so...
Here you will also notice that the room is laid out exactly the same as the room in the Doyle's house from the first film, with the French doors and the window placement being nearly the same.
This sets up another reversal of scenes where Laurie falls off the balcony down to the ground below, and when Michael goes to check on her, she's gone. Just like in the original, when Dr. Loomis goes to check on Michael after having shot him 6 times, only to discover nothing below. Laurie's face emerging from the shadows as her daughter Karen shoots Michael mirrors the killer doing the same emergence behind his prey in the original, signifying the final turning of the tables between killer and victim. And like the ending of part 2, we see Michael supposedly die in a fiery death.
And then lastly,
we have the same breathy ending in this film that we had with the original.
So, did we miss any Easter egg or references? Let us know by dropping those in the comments. Hopefully, you're a little pumped for Halloween Ends. I know I'm a mixed bag of tricks here with that one.
I'm not pumped.
Are you going to be seeing it in the theaters, or is it like, after Kills, I'm gonna just watch it at home?
We'll see it in the theater only because it's free. Otherwise, I'd probably just watch it at home.
And, as I mentioned a couple of times, what's your theory? Is Laurie crazy? Is she fighting the ghost of Michael Myers in this next film? That's what's drawing me to the theater, because I want to see something a little bit different. And John Carpenter and Nick Castle have kind of hinted at that over time, that this is a different type of film. So maybe we'll get to see it.
And plus, you know, we did the theory, so maybe we can get a theory right. That'd be great.
Yeah. That's the fun thing about fan theories, is we all get to share stories and talk about what could be. Anyway, don't forget to
like, subscribe, and share.
And until the next set of Easter egg videos drop, see ya.
See ya.